Welcome to Kian's Cafe and Beyond. Today I'm going to show you how to make stuffed peppers. In Mediterranean area, it is known as Yamista, Dolmeh, or Dolma. For Dolmeh, you need about 2 pounds ground beef or any other ground meat of your choice, 2 cups diced onion, 1 cup split chickpeas. It can be yellow or it can be green, and it must be checked for any sand or small stones, and it must be washed. 1 cup of white rice, same as split chickpeas. It must be checked for any sand or small rocks, and it must be washed before cooking. And bell peppers or any type of peppers. 1 cup of tomato paste, about 4 cups chopped fresh tomatoes, about 4 to 5 tomatoes, 1 can tomato sauce, 1 tablespoon black pepper, 1 tablespoon turmeric, salt if needed. Vegetables should be fresh, but if you cannot find any fresh vegetables, you can use dried ones. The amount of fresh vegetables are usually double the amount of dried ones. 1/2 cup tarragon, 1/3 cup mint, 1/4 cup of dill, 1/3 cup leek or green onions, 1/3 cup sweet basil, 1/4 cup summer savory, 1/3 cup parsley. You're going to need a bunch of toothpicks and cooking oil. Since parsley was the only one I had fresh, this is about double 1/3 of a cup. Now, our rice has been checked. I checked it for the rocks or any salt, same with the chickpeas. Now, our first step is to cook them. So in separate pots, I'm gonna put in my rice. And the reason we separate them is because the chickpeas and the rice have separate cooking times. And if we put them together, one of them would burn, and yeah. So now I cleaned that up, and now we're going to pour water over them until there's about 1.5 inches on top of them. So now we have put them in the pot. We're going to cook them on medium low for about 10 to 15 minutes, checking them occasionally to see if they're halfway cooked or even a little more than halfway cooked. So meanwhile, while we're waiting for our rice and our chickpeas, we're going to start our sauce. What we're going to do is we're going to saute our onions first. So now, as you can see, it's golden, and that's how we know. Before it gets brown, we want to add our turmeric and our pepper. And the reason we add turmeric is because turmeric stops the onions from burning. So now we're going to add our tomato paste and our tomatoes. And mix it around. Give it a good mix. So now we're going to put it on medium-low and put the lid on and let it simmer. But now, our chickpeas usually create a foam. So we are just going to remove the foam. Try not to get any chickpeas. We'll just remove the foam from it. So right now our rice is ready. But our chickpeas need a little more time. But for the meanwhile, we're going to strain our rice. Get all the rice out of there. And just strain it. So now it's been a little bit of time, a couple minutes. We're just going to stir around our sauce and move it around so the bottom of it does not burn. So now our chickpeas are ready, and how you check is you can take a little chickpeas out and then try one. And if it's good and if it's kind of soft under your teeth, then it's ready. So now I'm going to dump it into the same strainer. So now that our tomatoes have become one with the sauce, we're going to add our tomato sauce in and give it a good stir. So now we've added our tomato paste in, and now we're going to save half of our sauce into a different bowl or pan for later. So now in a different pan or pot, you're going to add in some oil and we're going to saute our meat. Let's try to spread it out. So now I have completely sauteed my meat. Now we're going to add it into our sauce. Give it a little stir. And then we're going to add in our spices. Give it another little stir. And then add our parsley. And now we're going to add our chickpeas and our rice. Really does not want to go out. So since we added dry vegetables in there, we're going to add this 2 to 3 cups of water into it. And then we're going to put it on medium low. And then we're going to stir it to unify it and let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. So now I'm going to show you while our filling is cooking, I'm going to show you how to open the bell pepper or your pepper. You cut around the top. Then lightly cut the middle. So then you cut it in diagonally, and now you got your top off. Now you're just going to seed them by hand. And I'm going to show you another example. You gently cut in, diagonally. Now you got that top off, and you just rip out the insides with your hands. And then again, you just seed them. So now we're going to add as much salt as you feel you really need. And then we're just going to stir it around and get that salt really everywhere. So make sure you're constantly on top of it and you're always stirring it, because you don't want it to burn at the bottom. And when you know it's ready is when all the water evaporates and you get a paste-like feeling to it. So it's ready. I tasted it and all the water has been evaporated. Now, since we put fresh tomatoes in there, it already has enough acidity, so you don't add any lemon juice. But if you didn't use fresh tomatoes, you would have to add 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice or lime juice. So now that it's ready, we take it off the heat and we let it sit till it becomes room temperature, and then we'll stuff our bell peppers with it. So now my filling has gotten to room temperature and it is cooled down. Now I'm going to add some oil to the bottom of my pot. And since I don't like the bottom of my bell peppers to get burnt, this is optional, but I like doing it. I'll put some lettuce at the bottom of the pot just so it doesn't, the oil doesn't burn the bottom of my bell peppers. So this is the inside of the bell peppers, and just the inside of them. And I'm just gonna drizzle them across. Now remember, you can also do this in a crock pot, or you can even just take this and put it in the oven. But now I'm going to fill one of my bell peppers with just the spoon. and try to fill it completely. Get that filling everywhere inside that bell pepper. So now we're going to put the top on it. And then we're going, this is why we have toothpicks. We put our toothpicks through the bell pepper's top, so it holds the bell pepper's top in place and it holds it to the bottom. And that's one. Perfect, go in the pot. So I had extra filling and then my peppers. So I had a couple of these peppers and these peppers. Anyways, I filled them, even though they're spicy, I filled them and it's still gonna be tasty. But to make sure that I don't end up eating a toothpick, or no one ends up eating a toothpick, I put exactly 3 toothpicks in every one. So when we take it out when it's done cooking, we know how many toothpicks to look for, and if we're missing one, we need to check inside of it. So if you remember, we set aside half of our sauce, and the reason we set it aside was now we're going to put our sauce in between our peppers. So lightly take it out, put them in between all of your peppers. So now we have put all the sauce. Now we're going to put the lid on it, and we're going to put this on low for about 40 minutes. So now it's been about an hour. It was 45 minutes and I checked in and it wasn't exactly ready. So I left it for about 10 more minutes, so it's about an hour. Now how to take it out of the pot is I'm using one of these. You have to get to the bottom of it, hold it tight, now you can put them in a plate. And I had a lot of extra filling because the recipe I showed you today is enough filling for exactly or almost 2 of these pots. And I put mine in a Ziploc bag and I put it in the freezer and I froze it. So now I put one in a plate, and these are ours in our serving dish. Now, if you remember, you have your lettuce from the bottom. You can use that for a vegetable. It's very tasty. The sauce goes really nice with it. But now, before we do any of that, we have to remove our toothpicks from all of our peppers. And remember, every pepper had 3, so always look for 3 and make sure you're not gonna eat a toothpick later. So now we have removed all of our toothpicks, and now we are going to add the lettuce and everything just on top. And especially don't forget that extra sauce. Pour it in the middle, in between all of your peppers. That's all the juiciness and the goodness of the peppers right there. So make sure to not get rid of that and use it. Put it on top and everywhere around it. So now it's time to try. I'm gonna try my lettuce first. Try our pepper. Got a little bit of sauce in it. It's really tasty, yeah. If you like this video, make sure to give me a like and subscribe. And if you have any recommendations, put a comment down below.